Coach, with what you said, at 57-47, you felt the team got out of sorts. Somehow, can you describe what you saw, what happened there?
You know, it was a game of runs the whole game. We had a couple maybe costly turnovers at that stretch, but you're playing a really good team. They're going to respond, and they responded offensively. They made a couple tough shots on us. Got a couple second shots on us, which we were doing a good job of limiting them on that. And then, you know, we kept taking the ball to the basket, you know, and up to that point, we were getting either to the free throw line or finishing some plays through contact. And in the last 5 minutes of that game, we didn't. We didn't get to the free throw line, and we didn't finish through some contact. That's our game, though. You know, with those two guys, as tough of guards as there is in the country, in terms of going downhill and being able to take contact and make plays. And you know, on some kickouts, we had some good looks and just didn't finish those. You know, so give them credit. Whenever something like that happens, it's not usually just one team getting out of sorts. It's another team kind of getting on a roll too. So it was kind of a combination there. So give them credit. But we just, you know, we didn't take care of the ball well enough or finish enough plays at the basket during that stretch.
17-4. I mean, what was your game plan early? Was it just to punch him in the mouth and kind of stun him there? I mean,
well, you don't stun Leonard Hamilton or his guys. You know, I have competed against them before. You know what I mean? But we are a much better team than we were 3 weeks ago or a month ago. And our thing is we got to be aggressive. We got to get paint touches. We got to play out of the paint. And we wanted to do that. And the way they kind of get into you and deny, we wanted to spread the court and get to the basket and make plays once we got into the paint. I thought Michael Durr was tremendous today. You know, in this day and age, your five-man is not going to score on post-ups. You know, Florida State just played 40 minutes. They threw the ball in their post one time. You know, it just doesn't happen. So the five-man's got to find other ways to score. Rolls to the basket, drop-offs, offensive rebounds. Mike responded in that. And because of us being able to stretch the court, it opened things up for him. It opened things up for LaQuincy and Xavier. And I thought Zach Dawson played really well. You're starting to see him grow within the program as well. So a lot more positives and negatives. We just didn't finish it. You know, we didn't finish it. It's a 40-minute game. It's 10 rounds at 4 minutes. In the last round and a half, they outplayed us. And because it was two relatively, can you say it, evenly matched teams, you know, maybe, at least today for this 40 minutes for sure.
Coach, obviously Utah State, you know, the overtime loss, tough win today, tough loss. What does it take for this team to start winning those type of games?
Well, that's the next step in the process. You know, it's the next step. You're down some numbers now with Rayshawn not being able to play today as well. I thought B.J. Mack gave us good minutes when he was in. Guys had to play extended minutes, which is not, this is not the team maybe to do that, but that's what we went with. But this is a, you know, there's, I always say, you know, it's not smooth, it's not easy, it's not fast, and it's not comfortable. It's bumpy, it's hard, it's slow. You know, everybody wants to snap their finger and change the program, but it doesn't happen that way, and you got to get uncomfortable. And this is an uncomfortable time because we're getting better. We're playing with a great competitiveness and a great toughness during the games and in practice, and you're not getting the validation for what you're doing. And this is where you got to be really strong as a unit, and it's got to come from our upperclassmen, these two guys in particular, that we got to keep chopping wood. You know, you just got to keep at it, and that process then becomes a little easier. And the next time you get an opportunity, you figure out a way to get it done. That's kind of where we're at right now. And this is a tough spot. It's a tough spot on these guys because, you know, as I said, there'll be a lot of people saying, "Man, what a change in the program, competing at, you know, in these last two games against top 25 team, all that stuff," which is great, all right. But these guys are ticked off that they lost that game, which is good for me to be able to coach them because they're going to accept the fact that we just competed and hung in there. You know what I mean? They want to take another step, and that's what we got to keep driving.
Coach, I thought Anthony Polite was terrific today, particularly on the defensive end for Florida State, number 2. Your thoughts on what you saw from him today?
Well, he's big, and he can score the basketball, and he plays at Florida State, so he's got to defend, or Leonard ain't playing him. You know what I mean? And he uses that length well, and he can really move his feet. I really liked him on film, watching him on film. And to be honest with you, first time I saw him was Wednesday night on the plane ride home. You know, yeah, he gives him a good lift off the bench with Forrest, who I think is as good a lead guard as there is around. MJ Walker, who I've known since he was 12 years old. You know, he's really good. Vassar really is dramatically improved, and now you add Polite to the mix. That's 4 pretty good perimeter players, and in that league, obviously, you need that.
Michael Dura, was that as good? Somebody said it might have been as good as he played his career for you guys.
He had some pretty good games down the stretch last year for us. He really did. You know, he wasn't, you know, when he was younger, no one thought he'd be where he's at right now. He's a hard-working kid. He's getting better. I've always said he's had a really good year for us, just not on this stat sheet. He does a lot of stuff that a lot of guys don't notice, but as a head coach and coaching staff and his teammates notice, the ball screen coverage, the help, the clogging the lane, the altering shots, the screens that he sets. So probably numbers-wise and against who he did it against, I would probably agree with you. I'd still say he's got a great future ahead of him, and because of his work ethic, he's going to be able to reach his full potential.
Even though it was a loss, just how much can this help recruiting, especially in Florida? I mean, play down here, play against Florida State. How much can this help you from a recruiting standpoint? You maybe getting some of these more top players in the state.
Yeah, you know, obviously one of the things we talked about when we got the job 3 years ago was to do a better job of recruiting the state of Florida, the Tampa Bay area in particular. But it's difficult because sometimes those guys know a little bit more about your program than a guy from Chicago, you know, and they know where our program's been at and the challenges that we've had. I'd state it right now, I'd play in this tournament every year. I'd love to play here every year if we were invited. It's great for us, it's great for our alumni, great for our program. And yeah, anytime you can compete against a team like that and play as hard as we play, I think it's appealing to a certain recruit that wants to be part of that, and wants to be part of what we're building, because we are building something special. And you know, our recruiting's been good, you know, and you know, 2 Florida kids, and then Mike Durr spent, you know, his high school years here in the state. So we got 3 of them in the starting lineup right now, and all 3 of them with LaQuincy and Zach and Mike all played pretty well tonight. Thanks, guys. Have a great holiday, everybody. Yeah.